So you just mentioned that you've been nonstop since you were born. You were born in the UK, but like raised in the US, if I'm not mistaken.
No, no, I was raised in the UK.
Oh, you were raised over there. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I've been
but the
here since
question
2015.
since 2015. Okay, but the point is that you weren't living in something. You weren't living inside of Iran. So my question is, why are you so passionate about what's happening in Iran when you've spent so much of your life, if not all of it, outside of it?
Well, I think it's important to remember that me, like many others, have spent my life outside of Iran because of the regime that's there now, right? Like
Hmm.
who I am, everything that I do, the language that I speak, the accent that I have is because of the Islamic Republic's hostile takeover of my motherland. Like I shouldn't even be here right now. I should be in Iran. But because of, and this is the story for so many of us, right? Because of these, like this illegitimate force occupying our land, we're forced out into the diaspora. So the story is very, very personal to me and many others. Like many of us would not be here but for the Islamic Republic. Murdered my family, right? So that's something that I obviously care about with like a vengeance. But I think aside from that, it's what drives that instinct to like protect your child or your sibling or your best friend or whatever it is. It's just something that's there. And
And so, you were probably very happy to see that millions of Iranians, were finally fighting and kicking and screaming for the same things that have been bothering you all these years of like what this regime, the conclusion that we're all hoping for.
I think what we could be doing better is getting a little bit more organized. Like we all have a lot of individual activism, which I don't think it's a bad thing. I think we all wake up every day and feel like I want to talk about this today. I want to share this today. But it can be a little bit disorganized. So I think
Hmm.
that a way that we can get our goals in the revolution met better and quicker is that especially people with the larger accounts kind of aligning goals, right? Like we did the IRGC terrorist thing, like, where everyone kind of shares the same content at the same time. Like we need to get this hashtag trending, we need to do this, sharing the videos. And I mean, we do to a certain extent, but I think more of that will get our goals achieved faster, especially when we know what our goals are, like being specific about what our goals are rather than just kind of like winging it daily.
Yeah, so I mean, this basically the word unity is the one that's going to kind of like come to the forefront. That we basically just need to be more aligned, more communication, and just have more of strategy. Would you say that's kind of like the next best thing to do?
Yeah, and I think it's interesting about this concept about unity because this is something that as Iranians we've struggled with for a long time. Like this is not a new thing, right? And I think it's almost like if you want to say like a spiritual kind of test for us, like we have this goal in mind and the only way to get to this goal is through unity. Like it really, really is only going to be achieved if we all stand behind this movement hand in hand together. And this is something that's been so hard for us to do throughout history. And so I feel like the test just keeps presenting itself to us, like the universal spiritual test. Like, can you do it? Like, if you really want your free Iran, can you put your differences aside? Can you go hand in hand? Can you be unified? Can you do it? And I don't know. I feel like we can. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic, but remains to be seen.
To be determined. Do,
Yeah.
do, do you think that every Iranian has a duty and responsibility?